For 5 long years, John Pryor was a prisoner of war. As a reward for good behaviour, the Nazis let him send letters back to his parents in Cornwall. But those letters were not what they seemed. When John died 2 years ago, his son tried to decipher the hidden code, but it proved impossible.
We were stuck. I was stuck. It became a family mystery. We knew there were coded letters, but we didn't know how to get at them.
It was this mathematician who finally cracked the code, based on a grid of letters and numbers which John Pryor had memorised. Sentences which appeared to give a rather bland account of life in the camp were in fact asking the British to send him items which would help him escape, like this one. A few weeks ago we arranged a rather useful scheme so men could get lager.
So you take the first letter of each word. So a few weeks ago we arranged a rather useful scheme so men could get lager. And what John did then is to put it into blocks of 3, and then he has a way of translating AFW into 3 numbers, 1, 3, 2.
And that's in his head?
That's in his head. Once he's got these numbers, he then knows that each number, each group of 3 numbers also corresponds to 1 letter.
So going back into letters.
Go back into letters, and 1, 3, 2 becomes M. 1, 2, 1 becomes A, P, S, full stop. And that's the message he wanted to send. It's about as complicated as you can get without using computers.
John Pryor had been taught the code by British secret agents. When his letters arrived in England, they were deciphered before being passed on to his family. In some, he gave precise details of German military targets, which the Allies could then attack.
They were behind barbed wire, they were miles from home, and yet they were still fighting the war.
John Pryor and his fellow prisoners of war were eventually liberated. This picture taken on the day they were freed.
Seeds is in column 1. That's column 1. So that's 1, 1.
Yeah.
And then R, which is A, which is also in 1.
It's taken many more hours, but the family has already decoded half the letters.
It was pretty amazing. It was like opening a hidden treasure.
How many more secret letters sent by wartime prisoners may finally be understood now that John Pryor's code has been cracked? John Kay, BBC News, Plymouth.